Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Today we're going to be taking a look at Tapestry, a civilization game designed by Jamie Stegmaier and published by Stonemaier Games. Now this is a fully sleeved copy of the game, and it also contains the two expansions, Plans and Ploys and Arts and Architecture, all in a single box with no lid lift. Now that being said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please make sure you have. It's the best way to help us grow, but let's go ahead and dive in. So first off, we go ahead and lift that lid, and inside you're going to see that we have the majority of our paper components on top. First off, we have the rule books from the two smaller expansions, as well as a silica gel packet for freshness. We've also got all of our nation boards in here, all in one large stack from all of the different content. And then we'll have all of our area boards. This is your starting areas. You can decide to have these special capital boards, or you can use these regulars. You give 2 to each player, and they'll pick the one that they want to go with for some varied gameplay here. Underneath that, you'll have the reference board for the different tracks, and then you'll have all of the different player boards, so one for each player. Underneath that, you're going to have all of the reference guides for the expansions, as well as the Shadow Empire, all of your solo materials, reference guide for the main game, solo board, and then your Tapestry Arts and Architecture rulebook, as well as a reference guide for the base game. Basically, all of your rulebooks and everything just in here. The Automa, as well as that base game rulebook. All the paper stuff you're just going to bring out in one clump. Underneath that, we have our main game board, and this is going to be draped on top of all of your main content. So inside here, we have a large bag. This is going to be holding all of our different location tiles in here. Now, we did use that original bag that came in the Plans and Ploys expansion. However, the material is really poor, so it actually ripped after just regular use. So kind of unfortunate. So we went ahead and threw away this one, and we replaced that bag. Each player is going to have a player bag that's going to contain all of their components, including all of your player markers, your score track, your different income bars from the new expansion, extra dice, everything you could need for a specific player. Now, we are using the Geek Up Bits from the BGG store. That's what these fancy tokens are. They do not have them for Arts and Architecture right now, but we just use a player marker instead. So we got outposts, everything you can think of in these bags for each player. We'll go ahead and remove the other 4 players' bags, and they all just kind of sit on this left side here. On the right of those player pieces, you'll notice we have all of the different miniature buildings here. They're fancy painted miniatures that represent the landmarks in the game. Now, originally they do come in this fancy tray, but there's a lot of wasted space in here. You have all this empty space that is not being utilized, and unfortunately that does make a difference when you're trying to condense everything into one box. But luckily, these are very, very durable. These are nice, hefty pieces that are not going to get damaged if you do condense them like so. And because of the support from this other box here, it's going to keep everything nice so that that board is going to rest nicely on top of it. So that's kind of what our solution for the landmarks are here, and it works pretty dang well. Lastly, in this top area, we have the new board for the Arts and Architecture expansion. So you'll simply just open that up and put it next to that main game board there. And then underneath that, we have all of our cards. To the left of the cards, we have our tokens for the landmarks. You'll simply open this up and pour it on the table. In addition, if you're playing with Arts and Architecture, that's what this special D20 is for. It has all of the faces, including the arts board. At the time of recording for this video, there were no additional sets of these D20s available for other players, so that is why they are not included in the player bags. We only have that original D12. So you'll just simply dump this out on that main board, put this near the signs, and then allocate these into their appropriate areas on their matching landmark spaces. To the left of that, we have a random draw bag, and these are for the space tiles. So just like the exploration tiles, you want to differentiate these. So that one's in a black bag, this one's in a white one, and these are those fancy, strong space tiles that all sit nicely in that bag. And to the right, we have all of our cards. We have our small new arts cards. So these are really fancy. I really like the way these look, these different masterpieces. Gets you some additional income. And then we also have all of our standard size cards. These include all of your landmarks, your Tapestry cards, super fancy, and then your technology cards. And to the right of all of that, we have your solo cards that you'll use if you are deciding to play that solo mode. You also have your reference cards here. So all of this is going to stay in here, and you'll be taking this large chunk out every game, all of the technology to the masterpieces, but everything else you'll kind of leave in the box, including the landmarks here. The last thing that I want to mention before we wrap it all up is that we are actually using a box from one of the expansions from Dinosaur World. So these fit really nicely into the core box and provide a raised surface. That way your larger landmarks can stand right next to them and not get crushed. It works really well, and it's working great for our organization purposes here. Now with that being said, let's go ahead and pack it up. So first off, we'll put that box in there with all of our cards in that upper section. You normally won't need to take that box out. And then we'll go ahead and slide those cards over and place our remaining cards in there. So our tech cards, our tapestry cards, our blueprints cards. We'll then put our masterpieces on this left side here, and then our space tiles, followed by our landmark tokens and our D20. And then we'll put our board for our new track on the left there. Up next, we'll put all of our player pieces. We'll stack them on the right side here until we become flush with this box. And then once we do become flush, we'll pour it over onto this right side. We'll then drape all of our tiles on top of that right side as well. And then we'll cover the top with our game board. Next, we'll put all of our paper components and reference guides, our player boards, our landmark marker, all of our different nations, our new locations, as well as our old ones, our Tapestry, Plans and Ploys, as well as our Arts and Architecture rulebooks, and then a silica gel packet for freshness. And that is organizing Tapestry. If you have any questions about what you saw here, please let me know down in the comments below. Do you have any interest in the new expansion for Tapestry? Is this one you enjoy? How do you like your copy of Tapestry organized? We'd love to hear what you think. But thank you so much for watching SideGame Strong.